So today I'm going to give you your lesson. I'm going to present you a lesson today. I hope you guys are going to understand what I'm going to present to you. So let's get right to it. Okay. So the most important thing, if I can just get my slides sorted out here, then we can actually start. Okay, so today we're going to discuss the urinary system. Guys, all of us should know what the urinary system is. Alright? Yes, no? Hopefully. Not really, okay, but after today's lesson we're going to know exactly. So the first thing is, and I think one of the most important questions to discuss the urinary system is to understand what is urine. We all know what that is. You don't know what urine is. So urine is the yellow liquid which you excrete when you go to the toilet. So it's pee. Right? Don't write that later. So, what is the purpose of the urinary system? You can tell me what's the purpose, the main purpose of the urinary system in our bodies? Yes, okay. So the purpose of the urinary system is to excrete waste products within our bodies, toxic products like urea, salts, liquid, those things, out of our bodies. So the urinary system is basically responsible for taking the waste and the toxic products out of the blood and then excreting them in the form of urine. You with me? Okay, then, which organs are involved in the urinary system? So there's separate organs involved in the urinary system that all together forms the urinary system. Okay, who can tell me a few examples? Which organs? Yes. The bladder, perfect. Kidneys? Yes. Anyone else? Okay, what about the ureters? So the ureters connect to the kidneys, and then the urethra. So the urethra is where you excrete the product, where you expel the product from your body. You with me? Okay, please don't hesitate to ask me another question. What is the function of the kidney in the urinary system? So for today's lesson, our main focus is going to be on the kidney. Okay, so the kidney is quite an extraordinary organ. It serves a very specific and precise function, and we're going to focus on that today. Okay, so let's quickly look at some of the organs just briefly. So, the structure of the urinary system. So the urinary system's main function is to remove the toxic, poisonous substance, urea, as well as other toxic substances like salt, excess water, and those other things, which is excreted as a yellowish liquid through the urethra. Then we call that urine. Right. So it's toxic to your body, it doesn't belong in your body, and the kidneys, along with the other organs in the urinary system, cooperate to excrete and expel that product. So the urinary system has two kidneys, two ureters, a bladder, and the urethra. Right. So far so good. You understand? You can tell me, where is the two kidneys? Where is the kidneys located? Okay? Close? Very close? Where are you showing me? Yes. So the kidneys are located at the back. Okay, we're going to look at that in now. So your kidneys are there. Okay? They are located above your waist, behind the intestines, underneath the diaphragm. Okay, the diaphragm, you know what part that is? Underneath your lungs. So the kidneys are located there. The two ureters connect to the kidneys. They transport the urine from the kidneys to the bladder. Right. And then the urethra is where the urine is expelled. So that is, I don't think I have to go into too much detail, that is where you release your urine. Okay? So that is the opening where the urine is expelled. Okay. Then the kidneys. So our focus for today. So the kidneys are two bean-shaped organs located at the back of our bodies, just above the waist, behind the intestine. Okay? And they are insulated by fat. Right? Meaning they are protected, one can say, by the fat. So they are not protected by bone structure, like your lungs and your heart are protected by the ribs. The kidneys are protected by fat. So if you feel there the back of the kidneys, you'll feel there's not bone. Yes, there's muscle, but there's not bone. Okay? So they are protected and insulated by the fat. The kidneys receive blood through the renal arteries and returns it through the renal veins. So Have you ever heard of a pulmonary artery or pulmonary vein? Right, so that's to do with lungs. So the pulmonary artery is responsible, the pulmonary artery is responsible for pumping blood through your heart back to your lungs, right? To get oxygen. The pulmonary vein then transports it back from the lungs to your body. Same way, the renal arteries pump blood to the kidneys from your body, and the renal vein pumps the blood back to your body from the kidneys. You with me? Okay, you can see the distinguishment there. Right. Then, the ureters are tiny tubes which transports urine to the bladder, as we already discussed. It stores it there until it is transported through the urethra to be carried out of the body. So the ureters, as we said, tiny tubes, I'm going to show you a picture now. Two small tubes that connect from your kidneys, from the back, they move down all the way to your bladder. Then the urine moves into your bladder, it is stored in your bladder until you feel the need to urinate, right? Until you feel the need to excrete, to go to the toilet. So that is, the bladder obviously, very important because that stores your urine, and then you can decide, okay, willingly when you want to go to the toilet. Okay, you didn't have a bladder, then you would be leaking all the time. So the bladder stores the urine temporarily. So far, you with me? You sure? Okay. So here's a picture. So as you can see the kidneys here, okay? This is a picture taken from the front, but obviously you know the kidneys are located at the back. Unfortunately, it's not a 3D. So there's the two kidneys. You can also see that they are not exactly level. The one kidney is actually slightly higher than the other kidney. You can see there the renal arteries and veins connecting to the kidneys, right? Transporting the blood to and from the kidneys to be filtered. Then, what is this? The ureter, yes. What is that?
The urethra.
Think carefully before you. Yes, and that is the urethra. Yes, okay? I'm glad someone is listening. Alright, so the kidneys, the ureters, the bladder, and the urethra. Those make up the urinary system. Now, as I said, we're going to focus on the kidneys. So, the kidneys perform four main functions: osmoregulation, excretion, regulation of pH level, and regulation of salt concentration. So those are the four main functions of the kidneys. Now one might say they are quite important. So osmoregulation refers to the regulation of H2O levels in bodily fluids. Okay? So that regulates the water, the amount of water, the concentration of water in your blood. Okay? So your blood is mainly water, if you did not know that. And the water has to be regulated. If it's not enough water in your blood, then that's going to be problems. You'll be dehydrated. If there's too much water in your blood, you're overhydrated. So the kidneys play a role in regulating the water levels in your blood. Then, excretion. Very important. So the kidneys remove the nitrogenous waste like urea. So when they say nitrogenous waste like urea, who knows what urea is? Okay, so urea is in urine, obviously. So who can tell me what is urea? Who's ever heard of that before? No one. Okay, so urea is the waste product that's present in your urine, which is the urea is the toxic part, which is excreted, right? With the urine. So the urea is what gives the yellowish color to the urine, right? The urea is the waste product in the urine that's excreted by the kidneys. And urea is actually a waste product that derives from ammonia. Ammonia is a waste product that derives from protein metabolism. Right? So we know proteins are ammonic acid. So as a waste product, ammonia forms of the proteins is metabolized. Then the liver converts the ammonia into urea. So the urea is essentially a waste product, right, that you gain from the things you eat and drink, because that's where we get our proteins. Yes. Okay, great question. So when your urine is clear, okay, I believe all of us has experienced that before. So if your urine is clear and there's no visual presence of yellow substance, okay, the urea. Visual presence of yellow substance, okay, the urea. Doesn't mean your urine is clear of urea, but it means that your urine has a low concentration of urea. So if you drink a lot of water, if you drink a lot of water, you will see water is special. Water doesn't have proteins, am I right? Okay? So if you drink a lot of water and you don't eat a lot of food and don't drink juice and those things in between, the water that you consume doesn't have high concentration or any proteins at all. Right? So due to that, with less proteins, there's less ammonia. And we said the ammonia is the waste product produced by the proteins. With less ammonia, there's less urea. With less urea, there's less yellow color in your urine. Makes sense? But that doesn't mean there's no urea. It's just a lot less concentration, so therefore it has the transparent color. Yeah, so that your urine is a dark yellow. If you go to the bathroom and your urine is dark, like yellow or orange, hopefully not red, you're going to have to check that out, but if it's yellow or orange, dark yellow or orange, then that means there's a high concentration of urea in your urine. Okay? Other things as well, but urea. And that is caused when there's an overproduction of the ammonia toxic product from the protein metabolism, and that means that leads to the overproduction of urea. That means you are consuming too much proteins, those type of things, usually maybe junk food and maybe unhealthy types of liquids or foods that you consume that can cause that. But there's a lot of things that can cause it, but yeah, it makes sense. Well, yeah, well, yes, that's a good way to put it. Okay? Think of oils. Yes. If you have oils and you put a lot of oils and you put a small amount of water, you will see the oils is darker. Same with your urine. The less water you intake, the more proteins you consume and juice and those type of things, the more urea is going to be present in the urine, okay? Because there's more toxic waste in your body. Does that make sense? Yes. Great. Then, the regulation of pH levels. So your body, just like it has a specific temperature, it has a very specific pH level. If that pH level drops or rises to a certain point, well, then you're dead. Okay? It's very dangerous and it is fatal if the pH level starts to fluctuate. So your kidneys also regulate the pH levels. And salt concentration in the body fluid. So, your kidneys, obviously, when the blood passes through the kidneys, so they enter the kidneys through the renal artery, blood then filters through the kidneys and exits the kidneys. During that filtering process, as we said, urea, waste product, is removed, excess water is removed, that's why your urine is a liquid, and then also salts. So, if you ever were to somehow, for some reason, taste urine, it's very salty. Okay, you can go Google it. It's a very salty taste, and that is due to the excess salt in your body that's removed. And no, I haven't tried it. Before you want to know, no. So go Google it. That is what causes the saltiness. Then, general characteristics of the kidneys. Okay, general external. So what the kidneys look like, where they are. So we said they are bean shaped. Concave on the one side, convex on the other. So they have a small, as you saw there, like a bean type of structure. The kidney is surrounded by dense connective tissue capsule, that is the fat that we were referring to. An indentation in the concave side is called the hilum. So there's a specific side of the kidney where you will locate the hilum. So the hilum is actually where the nerves, blood vessels and lymph vessels enter and leave the kidney. So when you have your bean-shaped kidney, on the concave side with the indentations, your arteries, your veins, lymph vessels and nerves enter the kidney through that specific center. That center or region is known as the hilum. I'm going to show you a picture now. Then you have the renal pelvis. So the renal pelvis is the expanded end of the ureter, right? So the ureter connects to the kidney. The renal pelvis is an expanded end of the ureter. So the ureter enters the kidneys, and then the renal pelvis is an expanded version. You're going to see on the picture now. And that is where urine from the kidney connects and drains into the ureter. So far, so good. You sure? Now, here I gave you two small pictures of the kidney. So, the first one is here. So this picture here doesn't have all the labels and everything, but here you can see your renal veins and arteries entering the kidney. Right? So they enter the kidney there, that is where the blood is transported to and from the kidney. Then the blood drains inside the kidney, right? It filters inside the kidney, and then through the renal vein is sent back to the body. But then, where does the excess waste go? Where does the waste that was just extracted from the blood go? Yes, but before that, ureter, but before that, so where does it go? So it's in the kidney, it's filtered. It's not in the kidney anymore, it's not in the ureter anymore. It's in the kidney, but which part? So we just spoke about that. Close, in the island, close, not there, but close. Okay, so it is in the renal pelvis. So the renal pelvis is this place here. This is the extension of the ureter. Right, so if you look at this kidney, blood went in through the renal artery, it filtered through the kidney, the filtered blood went through the renal vein back to the body, and then the excess, the waste product that was collected, that was then separated from the blood, collects in this small space here. Right, so this is the renal pelvis. So it drips into there. After it's filtered through the kidney, it drips into here. Think of a coffee machine. You have a coffee filter machine, you make coffee in the machine, you have a filtered paper, you throw the solid powder into the paper, then the liquid is added, the liquid passes through the coffee, right, and then the clean coffee comes out, the bottom of the liquid coffee. What do we do with the solid that stays there? We throw it away. That's exactly what happens here. The blood passes through the kidney, which is the filter, right? Then we get that pure blood out of the kidney. Because the blood filtered, now we get the pure blood back. That is sent back to the body. Right? That's sent back to the body. But then we have that coffee. Right? That powder, leftover powder, we don't want that anymore. Okay? That's in the filter, we're going to throw it away. That is, in this specific case, the urine. So after the urea is extracted, the salt, the excess water, the urine then collects in this. So this is your coffee cup. The urine then drips slowly, just like your coffee, collects in this renal pelvis, and then it passes through the ureter here to the bladder, to the urethra. Okay, does that make sense? I know it's a lot. If you don't understand, please ask. All of you understand? Right. So who is brave enough to come show me where the island is? On the board. So we said the island is the entrance and exit of the blood into the kidney. So there's only two, as you can see, entrances and exits there. So you can show me which region is the island. Who's brave enough? Yeah, it's the indentation. You are right. Come show me. Come. You are right. You've got it. But I want to see. Come. No, I can't see if you do that. You have to come do this. Yeah. Anyone? Okay, so the island is this part, in fact, here. Okay, so it's the entrances and the exits of the veins and the arteries. Right, so that is the island. The indentation in the kidney, where the blood is passed through the kidney, is filtered and passed back. Right, alongside nerves and lymph vessels and those things. And as we said, then the urine drips into the renal pelvis, collects, and then it goes back through the ureter. So far, so good. You sure? Okay, so I'm going to come around and ask you guys and see if it is so good so far. So, where did I say the urine collects into the kidney? What do we call it? So the urine collects in the kidney. So we said like the coffee machine here. It's a specific place before it passes into the ureter. So what do we call that specific? Yes, right. What do we call the entrance and exit again? The blood? The island, great stuff. And then, where is the ureter? Okay, so that's an easy one. Where's the ureter located? The ureter. To what does the ureter connect? Let me rather put it like this. To what part does the ureter connect in the kidney? Yes, right. Smart, I see something up right. Alright. What's it, girls? Then, if we continue here, let's see who knows. So you can just raise your hand if you have the answer. So easy, first and most easy, what is the shape of the kidney? Bean shape there. How many kidneys in here? 2. Can we survive with 1? Yes, we can. Right?
My question is, when in the case that the how say the bean shape?
Bean shape. You can say bean shape with concave or convex. Right, so the kidney is bean shape. You can survive with 1 kidney indeed. Okay, so the kidneys are responsible, as we know by now, for filtering the blood, essentially. 2 is ideal. If you only have one, for some reason you sold the other one, you needed money, hopefully not, then you can still survive, but you're going to have to check your diet. You're going to have to check what you intake. Because obviously your blood is filtered by the kidney. If your blood is then overloaded with excess waste products, urea, salt, those things, you have one kidney. You're overloading you're overloading the system. It's like these guys with their squirrels driving at 7,000 reps per minute. You're doing too much. So you have to make sure you have one kidney, check your diet. But yes, you can survive with one. You cannot survive with 0 kidneys. Where is the kidney located? The back, above the, behind the intestines, underneath the diaphragm. Name 2, let's make it 4. What is the 4 main functions of the kidney? I want to hear one from separate people. Yes, one. Also, otherwise known as osmoregulation. Great. Excretion of urea. Yes. pH regulation. What is the last one? Salts and excess water. Great stuff. Then, what is the difference between the hilum and the renal pelvis? So we said the hilum, specific part, it refers to a region of the kidney, the renal pelvis within the kidney. Difference. What is the hilum? Yes, the entrance and the exit. So that is the region, the hilum, yes. The blood vessels, the lymph vessels, and nerves enter and exit the kidney. What is the renal pelvis? Yeah, I want someone, what is the renal pelvis? No, you. No. Yes. So what do you think? What did you say? What's the renal pelvis? So we had the answer here already. I want to check if you listen. What do you think? Okay, anyone else? What do you think is the renal pelvis? Your friend here. Not looking at me, thinking of what to say. What do you think is the renal pelvis? Don't doubt yourself. Whatever you think, tell me so I can tell you if you're right. Okay. Yes. Okay, so the kidney is a filter. The renal pelvis, boys and girls. So focus, chances are you are going to get a question like this. This is the renal pelvis. This part here. Right? So kidney, filter, filters the blood. Urine is the waste product extracted from the blood. Stored in the renal pelvis. Trips into the renal pelvis, this opening here, into the ureter, and then it passes through the rest of the urinary system. Boys and girls, that's all. Do you have any questions? Yes? Sorry. Kidney failure, great question. So the reason people have kidney failure, there is a huge amount of reasons for kidney failure. The main reasons usually include diet, meaning if you eat junk food, you drink lots of alcohol, whatever you intake substances you're not supposed to intake, the kidneys then are placed under high pressure, and then up to a point, as I said earlier, if you take a car, you rev it, up to a point you cannot hold anymore, the engine will go. Right? Same with your kidneys. If you intake too much unhealthy substances, consume too much of it, you're going to overload your kidneys, and then that can cause kidney failure at the end of the day. Because you're going to overload the salt and urea and all those things. Okay, any other questions? Kidney stones, great question. So kidney stones, who's ever had kidney stones here? No one, you guys are lucky. Me neither. Kidney stones is very painful thing to have. Kidney stones is when your kidneys also is overloaded. So you intake too much salt, specifically salt. If you intake too much salt, you eat too much salt, and you consume minimal amounts of water. You with me? You take a lot of salt, but you don't drink enough water. Then the salt doesn't dissolve properly in your body, in the blood, in the kidneys. So the salt doesn't dissolve properly, and then when it gets to the kidneys, it can't be filtered out properly into the urine. So what happens then is the salt crystals don't dissolve. So they pass through your urethra, through your urethra, in the form of salt crystals. So it's like going to the toilet and urinating, and you're urinating salt crystals. I think it's a very painful thing. So that is when you intake too much salt, not enough water. Makes sense? Any other questions? Keep so it's definitely, if you have back by here, it's not always your spine or muscles, it can be your kidneys. Okay, what else? Sorry?
Just being.
Yes, definitely. Thank you, Mr. Goss. Enjoy the